September is turning out to be a hot and profitable month for the film industry. Erik Childress, the film critic and founder of the Movie Madness podcast, who comes on our show every week, is here to show us the money. That good, Erik?
Incredibly, Angie. Just last weekend, theaters saw the biggest opening of all time for an anime production. The previous high was the first Pokemon movie back in 1999, which opened over $30 million and finished with 85. This weekend, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Infinity Castle opened to $70 million. That's a long way from the introduction of Akira to Western audiences back in 1989, which didn't even make $500,000, but in many ways paved the way for the fan base the genre has today. Now, also, while I was at the Toronto Film Festival last week, we did not get a chance to talk about the incredible opening for The Conjuring Last Rites, which surprised everyone. An $84 million start, one of the best ever for September and one of the best horror movie openings ever, behind only the two It films, exceeded everyone's expectations and through this weekend has grossed over $130 million. It did have one of the 10 biggest drops ever for a film starting with over 80 million, so it likely becomes just the fourth film ever to hit $130 million in 10 days and not reach 200 million. But we are still talking a global gross of over $330 million so far, not to mention Warner Brothers tying Disney's record of 7 releases in a row to open to over $40 million. Next week, they have a chance to break that record with Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another with Leonardo DiCaprio, who has had 4 films in his career open to those heights.
I have to mention that Downton Abbey, the grand finale, also bringing in $18 million. I saw it over the weekend. Plenty of character revelations, and the ending is a masterclass on how to wrap a popular series. 3 new movies could add to the success at theaters. What films debut?
Well, horror is certainly hotter than ever and has officially led the box office for 5 weeks prior to Demon Slayer. Now, this weekend, the latest is called Him, and it features Marlon Wayans as a former football star who now runs his own combine for upcoming players, and, well, it's a horror film, so you can imagine what that might entail. I suspect you will see it take the #1 spot this weekend, since anime films tend to have big drop-offs after being very front-loaded. I suspect that will happen with Demon Slayer. But also in theaters this weekend is A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, a fantasy romance starring Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell from director Kokonada. And if you don't know that name, then I hope everyone will seek out his previous films, Columbus and After Yang, another sci-fi fantasy with Colin Farrell. They are both excellent films from a very exciting filmmaker, and A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey is the film I am most looking forward to this weekend. Finally, there's also The Senior, starring Michael Chiklis in the true story of a 59-year-old who gets a chance to go back and play college football. No, it's not the sequel to Necessary Roughness. It is the latest release from Angel Studios.
The world lost a legend this week with the passing of Robert Redford at the age of 89. Take us down memory lane and remind us of some of his important contributions to the industry.
Of course, Angie. I'm glad you said the world instead of just the film world, because Redford was an activist for many human causes over the years, along with his creation of the Sundance Film Festival that I've been covering for decades. He was an inspiration to so many actors and filmmakers, and a trip through his resume is like a warm blanket. Write all of these down and have your own Redford Festival. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting. All the President's Men and 3 Days of the Condor. Barefoot in the Park and The Way We Were. The Natural, one of my personal favorites, Sneakers, which is worth rediscovering along with turns in Spy Game and All Is Lost, and even in the last decade with roles in David Lowery's Pete's Dragon and The Old Man and the Gun, not to mention films he even directed like Ordinary People and Quiz Show. Too many legends are leaving us, and as a movie star and a man, Robert Redford was one of the great ones.
That was a great wrap on Robert Redford's works. Thank you, Erik.
Thank you, Angie.